Okay, students, so good afternoon, everyone. So we can start doing the mock number 4, Tread Cushy again. So students, let's go through this mock number 4 as well. Okay, so students, now what we need to do here is, it's not difficult, students. It's basically a simple calculation that we are going to do. So since you have done so many mocks, you already know that they are already giving you the done calculations and they are asking you to do the interpretation of that calculations. And students, you don't worry, you will update your knowledge when you make mistakes. So you must refer the notes, you must start working, and if you have any questions, you can ask me before anything. So students, today I was requested about relevant costing. What is relevant costing? So I'll just brief on that so that we can start the mock answer as well. This is a doubt that was requested, relevant costing. And I'll be very open to you. Relevant costing in simple English is a cost of comparison, a cost of comparison. Now, example students, if you observe, you want to buy an iPhone, which is the price at, let's assume 50,000 INR, just an assumption. And you want to buy a Vivo, which is, I can say INR, or I can say it is 30,000 INR. Now, your decision making here is based on comparison. So your decision making will be based on a compared differential amount of INR, how much to INR 20,000. So the relevant cost here at the moment is the decision making. Why did you make the decision? Because of this 20,000. Are you understanding what I'm saying, students? So similarly, students, coming into inventory as well. Now, if you see inventory, students, what we need to do, I'm just doing the basic part only. Now, if you see inventory has cost, inventory has an element of usage, inventory has an element of NRV, inventory has an element of scrap. So students, whatever said and done, when you buy inventory, for the first time, you record at cost. You record at what, student? Cost. Let's assume the cost is 1,000. Now, students, if you observe, when you are using it, you need to always see at cost, because the cost values will be transferred. Cost values will be transferred, but you need to compare the market rate as well. Now, students, you have 1,000 worth stocks with you, and the market rate is, let's assume, 1,100. So in this case, it's better to use the stocks you have. Agree, no, students? Because $100 you will save. There will be a situation, market rate is, let's assume, 800 rupees, and your stock is at 1,000 rupee. In that case, if you have money, better to buy from the market, because 800 is a $200 savings, if I'm not mistaken. And similarly, students, if there is no usage, then you need to think about selling it, because if you do not have any usage, you need to sell it. So it is selling price less residual value. Selling price less what, students? Residual value. Selling price less residual value. And then, students, instead, if you can't sell, then you need to go for the scrap. Scrap means, students, you can dispose at the minimal of the, I can say, minimal of the dismantle parts. Now, example, students, I will teach you. Dismantle part means iron is a dismantle part, steel is a dismantle part, rubber is a dismantle part. So what the people who does this is, they take the iron. Now, if you have a car and the car is very old, engine is not working, and you can't refix again, you can scrap that means you can sell the steel of your car, you can sell the tire of your car, you can sell the engine of your car. So this is the basic decision making point of view on this. So students, any questions you have, you can ask me, but this is like a real life story application. Any questions you have, please do let me know, students. I can definitely guide you and respond for your answers as well. If you are fine with this, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students? If you are fine with this, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box? Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much, students, for your prompt response. So students, if you are okay with this, we can move on to the next area as well. So can I come to the mock number 4 if you do not mind? And one thing, students, I need to specifically request from the class is whenever you feel anything difficult, whenever you feel anything confusing, whenever you feel anything hard, please do direct message me. And I won't, if you feel shy to reveal your name, that's completely all right. I won't reveal your name, but I will transfer that to the WhatsApp group so that the entire classroom will get the understanding, because knowledge should be always shared and knowledge will never go away even after your death, because knowledge will be transferred in the next generation. So students, if you are fine with that, shall we start working with mock number 4, students? Mock number 4. So I will work with you mock number 4. So students, if you do not mind, can I get a Y in the chat box? If you are ready, shall we move on with the mock number 4, please? Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much, students. Excellent. So students, now Harry Blank has sent you the following mail. I have been observing the sales variance report in the reference material section 1. So students, they are specifically saying about the sales variance. They are specifically saying about the sales variance report. Now, in simple language, students, sales variance is a topic of variance analysis. So we need to learn the application because we have little time as well, and we need to improve the writing skills as well. I have some concerns to be made. I have been analyzing how sales team is functioning, and we have clearly observed that the sales team generally have the following policy. The sales team members do not have the right to provide any discounts to the customers. So in the showrooms, you can't give it to the customers any discount and the prices are stable. They will be receiving a bonus only when they reach the target quantity. So example, you sell 1,000 shoes, you will get the bonus. And the bonus is paid of a fixed amount, and that's it. The bonus is like 10,000 only. If you reach 1,000 shoes, you will get 10,000 only. Even if you reach 5,000 shoes, you will get 10,000 only. So indirectly, what they are suggesting is the shoe component here is generally going in a normal methodology of targeting. So students, it's a fixed bonus. It's a quantity-based bonus. So that is the understanding here. I have done some observation and I have been able to understand the sales are being delayed. The sales are being, what students, delayed just in order to achieve the sales target only. Because students, if you see 1,000 is the quantity, means purposely you will only sell 1,000 just to get it. Because if you sell 1,000 and if they give you another target, again you need to work hard. So this we say as a slack. This is only known as slack. People generally wait till the last moment. People generally wait till what, students? The last moment. If you do not mind, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box if you can understand the situation, students? Excellent, excellent, excellent. I believe you are getting the understanding point of view very well. And the main reason for the sales of the casual wool shoes to be higher is that the salesmen are referring since it's less costly so that they can easily sell and reach the target quantity. Now, students, if you generally see as a consumer, you always prefer to go to the lower range. But it's the salesman who can market that product and try to give you some impression and ask you go for the higher range as well. So students, are you getting that application at the moment, students? If you are getting that application, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students? If you are getting that application, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students? Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much. So I'm moving to the next one. Therefore, I think since we are expanding over Europe and since the product quality is generally higher, we need to make sure that we introduce new KPI for monitoring and measuring. So there needs to be key performance indicators for the consumers. Further, some wholesalers who directly buy from our showrooms are generally given 30 days credit period, and currently they have been taking 60 days time. I need you to respond on the following. Firstly, please explain and comment on the variance analysis report. And then secondly, please develop 3 KPIs that can be used to monitor the sales team And thirdly, please suggest some method in which we can measure the receivable days. In other words, we can reduce the time little. That is the understanding, students, how you can manage to bring down the receivable days. Okay, we can manage methods in which we can reduce. Sorry, I'll just change it for you. I'll just change it for you. It is reduce. It is reduce. I'll just write down the verb here, students. Reduce. Just give me a minute. I will write it down. Reduce. It's a small mistake. Reduce. Reduce is the right verb there. So thank you. Thank you for that, students. So reduce. Yeah. So that is done. So we need to reduce the receivable days because students, you see, it's really, really higher if I'm not mistaken. That is the point of view there, students. We need to generally reduce it. We need to generally reduce the receivable days, students. Reduce the receivable days for your understanding. So I'll just cut this verb measure. You see the measure verb is cut, receivable days. Okay. Now, students, I believe we need to go through the table. So this is the variance report table. You may be knowing adverse, favorable, like that. So students, if you do not mind, can I give you around 3 minutes time? You can do a small analysis of this. Get the three policies. So I will write down the three policies. One is sales team, no discount. Just remember that sales team, no discount power. No discount power. That is the first thing that you need to remember. The second thing that you need to remember is after sales team has no discount power, the second thing is quantity based bonus. Quantity based bonus. You are giving a quantity based bonus. And the next one is students, fixed bonus. Fixed bonus. That means if you achieve the target, 1,000 rupees only. So students, these are the sales policies that we are having at the moment. Considering these three, can you just observe these, students? Can you just observe? I'll give you 3 minutes time. You need to write it down. You need to write it down. You need to make some notes. Please do that. Please take your own time. Please make your own notes, students. One minute more. 1 minute more, students. Okay, students, done. So it's little confusing, I believe, but I'll try to make it simple. Thank you, students. Due to changes in fashion, maybe the price get affected, so sales price variance may occur. Thank you, Deepansh, for your good discussion point. Anyone, students, why can you think about a relationship here? Now, due to change in fashion, the price would have gone down. So that is one major factor. But any other thing, students, but profit and quantities are really good. The quantity variance are doing very, very well. And the profit mix variance is also doing very well. But only the price variance is less. But other than that, the other two are doing very well. And if you see, the supporting information is also given. That is the actual selling price, the budgeted selling price, actual profit, and the standard profit. Okay, now if you say actual profit is 300 and the standard profit, what you expected was 250. And if you observe here as well, casual shoes, if you see, the selling price has reduced. If you observe that casual wood shoe, the selling price has reduced compared with the budgeted selling price. And what has happened is the actual profit has also gone down. Heel shoes has remained the same. There is no differences. And the flat shoes has also remained the same. So the only shoe that has affected in the real factor is the casual wood shoe. So students, that is one aspect that you need to keep in mind, because if you observe, the rest of the items are fine, but the casual wood shoe has shown a difference, a selling price difference, because it has little gone down at the moment. So students, let's look at the quantities as well. So budgeted sales, that is 466. Now the quantity mix, if you see here, actual quantity 467, and mix means, students, you bundle it. Example, you give something extra like a socks or something free of charge. And then students, even if you see actual quantity for the wood shoe is also very high compared at the moment, if I'm not mistaken. And the heel shoes are less. And as usual, the flat shoes are even less if you observe in the quantity shows. So effectively seeing, students, what we can understand here, is there is a difference in the selling price that you expected and the real selling price, which has caused the difference, Students, are you getting this perspective very clearly, students? If you are getting that, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box? Because get the understanding, students, selling price remains static. Only for the casual wood shoe, the selling price has gone down. And even if you observe, students, the budgeted sales unit is 466. But actually, you have sold more than what you have budgeted. Here 58, here 110. You see here, casual wood has been gone to 110. You expected to sell 58,000, but the increment is very high. And then the heel shoes, if you observe again, you expected 160, but only 90,000. The flat shoe 18, but here you have gone to 300,000 as well. So students, now let's come into the application. So let's write down the first thing as sales price variance. So students, let's start writing a note for this. It's not a complicated note. It's just a basic note for your understanding. Sales price is generally affected in the case of company provides any discounts or offer to the existing selling price, In this case, all the shoes are maintained at the stable price, but only the casual wood shoes, there is a discount element. Only in the casual shoes, students, you get what, students? You get a discount element. Get that point of view very clearly. Therefore, we need to understand. Therefore, we need to understand that this have increased. This have increased the quantity. This has increased the quantity, but there is a negative price difference. Negative price difference. Negative price difference. Negative price difference, which has reduced the sales variance, to an adverse. So students, I believe this is okay for you. This is just the explanation of the table, students. Once again, I'm repeating here, students. I'm just explaining the table at the moment. So the beauty of operational case study is, students, if you know how to handle the tables line by line, I am 100% sure, students, you can easily pass this examination. So let's come into the next one, students. Sales profit, quantity variance. Sales profit, quantity variance. Now, one step is line by line, you write down whatever you like to feel. So students, if you observe, the sales profit on quantity shows a favorable variance, since there is always a target. There is always a target that is set by the management, for the sales team. I believe this has given a better understanding. If that is fine, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students? If that is fine, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box? Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much. So I will write down here, since there is always a target that is set by the management for the sales team. Now, even that is done. So I will write down here, therefore, this is a weakness. This is a weakness in the sales policy. Meaning that we will always achieve a favorable quantity variance, since the sales staffs are generally concerned about increasing their targets. Are you understanding the point of view, students? It is critically important here. So any questions you have, you can ask me, students. If you are fine with that, I can move ahead with the next sentence as well. This may not be a good move. Since only the lower price range products will be sold. Only the lower price range products will be sold. Students, are you understanding that point of view clearly, students? That means they will only sell the lower price range product. If that is fine for you, students, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students? If that is fine for you, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box? So students, of course, our other products will get affected, right? If I'm not mistaken, it will definitely get affected, students, because even, students, if you see most of the Chinese products like Huawei, the cheaper version goes very faster. And if you see, they also have the premium version. People don't buy that because the salespersons don't recommend that. So that is the basic understanding of that, students, for your key perspective. Then, students, I will write down here the sales profit variance. Now again, students, even though you are giving discounts, it is getting offset with the quantity, because anyway you will get a profit. But I don't think so. If you can still increase it, provide if you sell your other ranges, example, the heel shoes, which are a little expensive, if I'm not, the casual wood shoes, And if you see students, the flat shoes, which are going at 800. So it can be more provided that your sales team has a better sales target and a better sales positioning for them to do the business very, very well. So students, if you are getting this correctly, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, please? If you are getting this correctly, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, please? Thank you very much, students. So let's move ahead with the next section as well. So it's not so complicated, students. It's just a basic application-based writing. So I'll write down here, students, the sales profit variance is a favorable variance that everyone can observe, favorable variance. But the main problem that is involved, but the main problem that is involved so only these type of questions will come. Just can I finish it? I think it's not relevant at the moment. So sales profit variance is a favorable variance, but the main problem is involved is that the company will need to get some understanding of how they will be able to increase the sales profit, Therefore, we need to make sure that the company, so I'm writing it even better for you. We need to make sure that the company observes why other ranges are not sold, and then they can make a better increase in the sales profit variance at the moment. So these are the basic understanding at the moment, students, on how the sales profit variance are affected with. And also, students, I'll just write down here, based on the supporting information, we need to understand the reasons. You need to ask question, reason why the casual wood shoes price has been reduced by the management. Do they have any profit targets? Because sometimes even management needs a profit target, yes or no, students? Therefore we need to make sure that the management is able to learn and understand and also disclose the reasons for price changes, price changes. So students, what I will write down is overall the sales policy of Cushy, is affecting the business, since there is only quantity targets for the staffs to achieve their bonus, so the slack is created. Again, I am using the term, students, the slack is created. So the slack is created, and we need to understand further the company needs to plan well. In order to be more stronger in the market sales, and also to increase the market share. Since in case if a competitor has a better sales policy, there can be situations, that we need to be able to have even better strategy, full stop. So students, yes, you will get generally writing questions only. I think I have shared the past paper, students. As I told you, in the Google Classroom, you have all the documents. You can refer that and understand it. And if you still have any further doubt, you can also go to the CIMA website and also check and see, or just Google and type, you will get all the details. So we generally get analysis based question, but technical analysis, students, mostly technical analysis is only done at the moment. So students, any questions you have here, you can ask me. So we are done with the variance report analysis. Before moving forward, students, any questions you like to ask, you can ask me. If you are fine with that, you can please put a Y in the chat box, students. But frankly speaking, your technical understanding needs to be stronger. Even if you are a weak student in calculation, with your interpretation skill, you can do it. Now, example, students, you look in India. If you see in India, the finance minister of India never do calculation in the parliament. In the parliament, what they do, they read the analysis of the budget. Correct me if I'm wrong, students. Can you understand that? Now, the finance, if you end up as the finance minister of India, at the end of the day, you won't do calculations in the parliament, right? You will do analysis. Can I get a double Y in the chat box if you understood the outcome, why they do not want you to do calculation in case study? Because case study is explanation, but your OTQ paper is concepts. Concepts is different, explanation is different. Now, the problem is day by day, the concepts become automated, students. But the person who interprets the content, it's very difficult to do that. So get that point of view very clearly. So children, any other questions before we move forward? Any other questions you have, you can ask me, students. If you are fine with that, you can please put a Y in the chat box. Then we can do the next one as well. That is the develop the KPI as well. So students, let's go for a 5 minutes break, students. Thank you. Okay, students, so can we start the class? If you can hear my voice, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students? Thank you very much, students. So please develop 3 KPIs that can be used to monitor the sales. Now, students, we have a problem with our sales policy. Can you use the chat box, students? And can you please tell me three strategies that can be implemented, students? If you do not mind, can you please tell me 3 strategies that can be implemented, please? Students, I'm waiting for your answers. Can you please tell me 3 strategies that can be used? So I'm getting the answers. Bonus is no, that's not the correct one. KPIs, that means like what are the factors we can use the sales. Now bonus is the current one, right? We have quantity bonus. So I'll write down here, one KPI is weighted average target, weighted average target for quantities. Now, students, if you overall give quantity bonus, there will be again just 1,000 sold from any cheaper item. They'll just sell it and go. But weighted average target quantities, it will be hard for them, but still it's good for the company. Now, see, students, you need to give them that if you are going to sell 1,000, 500 should come from this shoe, 200 should come from this shoe, and 300 should come from this shoe. So are you understanding what I'm saying there, students? Yes or no? Now, earlier you don't have weighted average. You just have quantities. You sell 1,000, you get it. Now, it's like this. You have E1, P1, F1. You only study F1, you will pass. Then you E2, P2, that subject will get affected. So you say averagely you need to score. So students, if you get that point, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students? If you can get that point, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students? Thank you very much. Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So students, now let's start writing the point of view. It's not so difficult. It's very simple. The weighted average target for quantities, the weighted average target for quantities are generally better than overall quantity target, because there can be a situation where the company is able to get most of their intended products in the market, or else only a selected range will go in the market. Only a selected range will go in the market. Are you understanding what I am saying there, students? Only a selected range will go in the market. If it is fine for you, students, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students? If it is fine for you, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box? Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much. Thank you very much there. Excellent, excellent. So students, I'll just write down. This may be challenging. This may be challenging to the sales staff, and there can be resistance, and there can be what, students? There can be resistance. As well. And in that case, there can be a situation where the company will be able to manage the resistance, manage the resistance, manage the resistance, manage the resistance. Students, any questions you have, you can ask me. If you are fine with that, students, can I move on to the next one? Because they have specifically asked 3. So one is done. The next one I can generally say is to monitor the sales. I can generally write down here, sales in variable, sales bonus in variable basis. In variable basis. Students, do you agree with me? Because when it is fixed bonus, what happened? They achieve the target, finish. But if it is a variable bonus, students, they will be more and more motivated to sell more and more, so that they will be getting more and more income. Are you understanding the point of view there, students? Yes or no? Sales bonus in variable basis. Are you clear with that, students? Yes or no? If you are fine with that, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students? If you are fine with that, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box? Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much, students. Okay, I will continue with the next sentence as well. So what I'm going to write down here is, students, it's not so complicated. It's very simple. So I will write down here, the sales bonus is currently based on a fixed amount, Therefore, the salesperson will only be satisfied when he achieves the target, when he achieves the target. Since anyway, it's a fixed amount. It is a fixed amount. Therefore, instead of a fixed amount, there can be situation, the company will be able to generate more sales, provided that they are able to make the target variable. Example, for every unit after 1,000 units sold, $10 bonus. So in case a person sells 1,100 units, for the extra 100 units, it will be multiplied by 10. So he will receive $1,000. So if you go for 200, it's going to be 200 if it is extra than that. So I believe this bonus target is far better than the bonus target what they already have. So students, before moving forward, any questions you have, you can ask me, students. If you are fine with this explanation, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students? If you are fine with this explanation, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box? Thank you very much, students. Okay, now students, coming to the next one, that is not a difficult one, that is a manageable one. That is what let's observe here, students. So what we are going to go through is the third one. So if you do not mind, students, can you please think and let me know the third KPI target that can be used to monitor the sales team. The third KPI target. What do you generally think, students? What can be the third KPI target that can be used to monitor the sales team? I can specifically say here, students, I can generally say number of new customer attracted. Because students, if you see in the sales stores, you have the telephone numbers. They generally ask you, what is your telephone number? The main reason is they want to track the customers coming. Now with the same telephone number, if you go there for 2-3 times, then what will happen? There will be a situation. There will be a situation where they will ask you to move. So let's write down here number of new customer attracted. So it's not a complicated arrangement. It's just a basic arrangement to be done at the moment. So let's write down here the note. The new customers needs to be attracted, since the trend always changes, this is a non-financial KPI, but this is a very useful target. Since a company needs new customers for growth, if I'm not mistaken, students. So I believe this is giving you a better understanding. Current sales revenue, that is fine. So students get this understanding very, very well, because this is a non-financial target. This can slowly increase the market share, and also the customer satisfaction, customer loyalty, as well. So students, I believe this is giving you a better clarity at the moment. The retention point is also good. Further, the customer retention also plays a major role. The customer retention plays a major role. So students, I believe this is giving you a better understanding and a better clarity at the moment. So students, we are almost done with the KPI as well. Now the next one is reduction in the receivable days. So before we move on to that, let's go for a small 5 minutes break. Any questions you have before the break, you can ask me. If you do not have the questions, you can put Y in the chat box, and then I will guide you on how the receivable days can be reduced. Okay, students, so I'm back to the class. So please suggest some method in which we can reduce the receivable days. So before moving forward, if you can hear my voice, can you please put a chat in the in the chat box, students, please. Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much. So students, coming into the application, let's come into the application. Suggest some methods to reduce the trade receivable days, the trade receivable days, the trade receivable days. So students, let's come into the application. It's not so difficult, students. It's generally a manageable area. So let's start working on this. So if you are fine with that, students, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box? If you are fine with that, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box? Thank you. Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much. Okay, now coming here, students, suggest some method to reduce trade receivable days. It's not so difficult. It's very simple and easy. So the first thing is contact them and follow up. Students, do you think it is good or not good? Contact them and follow up. Because I don't see there is a contact mechanism taking place. Because students, if you want to reduce your customer taking time to pay you, you need to follow them up and you need to say, hey, you need to pay back my money. Are you understanding what I'm saying there, students? So if you are fine with that, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students? If you are fine with that, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So I'll write down here, the finance team of Trade Cushy should be able to contact the sales team and follow them up at regular intervals. Example, reminder via email, SMS, telephone calls needs to be provided. SMS and telephone calls needs to be provided. Telephone calls needs to be provided. Therefore, there is a situation that the company will be able to generally reduce the trade receivable. Students, I believe that is a very practical point of view on reducing the trade receivables. The next way of reducing the trade receivable is background review. Students, I want to ask you a question. Background review, is this important or not important, students? Background review, I think generally it is important. I will tell you why. Now, students, if you observe, generally when you are going to give someone on credit, it's always better to check their background. You need to check and see whether they are having the financial stability to pay you back, whether do they have a greater credit rating, whether they have any outstanding balances. So this is a very important thing. So I'll write down here, students, credit history, credit score. The finance team can generally review the background, of the customers. They can check the credit rating, the credit scores, come on, the credit histories, any assets or properties they have for compensation. In case of a default, this will enhance the time reduction to pay, since they have been reviewed well. So this is make sense lot of time, students. So this will reduce the trade receivable days as well. Can't we outsource the collection to a third party? Yes, we can do that as well. So this is 1, 2, 3. Let's go for that for the last thing. So let's do one more thing for your analysis part. So one is contact them, follow up them. Then you go for background review so that they will be able to get the things done. And the next one, what you can generally do is sale or return basis. Sale or return basis. Students, sale or return basis means you give the goods on credit in case within the time, if they can't give it, they need to return it back. This is very much practical, since in the case of a consumer, is unable to recover the sales, then the customer needs to return the product back to the company. Are you understanding what I'm saying there, students? Yes or no? This is very much practical, and this will generally make the sales more better, since we have retail outlets, so we can sell the return goods. Students, are you understanding? We can sell the return goods. So before moving forward, students, any questions you do have, you can ask me, students. If you are fine with that, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students? If you are fine with that, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box? Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much, students. And the other one is factoring or debt collection. That is the final one, I can generally say. Factoring or debt collection. Factoring means you go for a third party. You ask a third party to collect, but the problem is the third party will collect it for you, but he is not bothered about the relationship. Because example, students, if a third party comes and takes the money, there will be high chances the relationship will get affected. That is the only problem. They may be aggressive. There may be legal problems. So many things can be there. So I'll write down here, legal agreement. Yes, you can have that as well. There can be situations where the company can outsource the payment collection to a third party. In that case, there needs to be a situation where the company will be able to pay, collect faster. But the problem here is that the company will not have the stability. To perform well. Are you clear with that, students? If I'm not mistaken, since the relationship with the consumers or the businesses may get affected, or the businesses may get affected. Students, I believe this is giving you a better clarity and an observation. So if you're fine with that, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students? Early payments discount can be used as an option, of course. So I will work with you all. So can we write down the other points as well, so we are getting some answers? One is legal agreements. We can have legal agreements. So this is a good point given by the students, and this is correct as well. Legal agreement. Another one, discounts. We can give a discount for early settlement. For early settlement makes a lot of sense, students. This is a good point. And then payment plans. Yes, packages we can give payment plans. You pay it on an EMI basis, like that, every month installment basis. That's a very good way of reducing the trade receivables. It's again a wonderful method of reducing it. Okay, so students, these are the main ways of how you can control. And penalties, students, we can impose penalties such as interest on late payments. Students, do you agree with me? Credit card companies, they charge interest, right? If you do not pay on time, they charge interest. Are you understanding how these things work out, students? If you are clear with that, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box? If you're clear with that, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box? Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much, students. Thank you. So students, question and answer session. Any questions you have for today's lesson? Because now I feel you got the understanding. Again, what you do is more than what I do. That should be. You should have the attitude to do more than what I do. I'll always be with you. So students, I believe that's fine. So 1 minute.